Hi everyone. Welcome to KH Recapped. Today we are going to talk about one of the best movies called Slumberland 2022. But before we start, please make sure to subscribe, like and share this video with your friends and family. So let's get right in. Slumberland is a 2022 American fantasy adventure film directed by Francis Lawrence and written by David Guion and Michael Handelman. Slumberland, the latest fantasy movie to land on Netflix, tells the story of a young girl named Nemo who lives in a lighthouse on an isolated island with Peter, her father. On the day of a dreadful storm, Peter is called out to sea to rescue a ship that is in trouble. He leaves Nemo alone and heads out on his mission, but unfortunately, he doesn't return. It tells the story of a young girl who goes to live with her uncle after her father is lost at sea. In her dreams she enters Slumberland and befriends a renegade character who is involved in a plot to get to the Sea of Nightmares and obtain a special pearl. The pearl may have the power to reunite her with her father. Nemo is a young girl who lives in a lighthouse with her father Peter ever since her mom died. Peter teaches Nemo how to maintain the lighthouse and tells her wild bedtime stories about his adventures with a character named Flip, and one of their adventures involved the searching for a cave of magical wish-granting pearls. Later, the authorities call at Nemo's home and tell her the bad news: her father has died. She is then sent to live with her father's brother Philip, who lives in the big city. Life is now very different for Nemo, not only because she has to attend school for the first time, but because living with Philip isn't quite the same as living with her dad. He isn't as good a storyteller, he doesn't have the same spirit of adventure, and as he regularly mentions his doorknob business, his conversations are rarely interesting. One day, a storm occurs and Peter is lost at sea trying to help a distressed boat. Carla informs Nemo of what happened. With Peter lost at sea, Carla contacts her uncle Philip and persuades him to take Nemo in before she becomes a ward of the state. Philip is shown to lead a monotonous and unfulfilling life. Nemo struggles to adjust to her new life and is an outcast at school as she meets school counselor Ms. Arya and a student named Jamal. Nemo is awakened one night when her stuffed pig, named Pig, comes to life, finding herself in Slumberland, the world between dreams. She is carried back to the lighthouse by her animated bed, where she meets Flip, a stubborn and unscrupulous outlaw. Nemo recognizes Flip as the character from the stories her father told. He asks Nemo about a magical map, but she is unaware of it. With no use for Nemo, Flip pushes her off a cliff to wake her up. Nemo finds the map in the waking world and manages to take it back to Slumberland, where Flip begrudgingly agrees to take her with him to the pearls so she can wish her father into her dreams. Nemo misses her father desperately and assumes that she will never see him again. But one night after falling asleep, her stuffed pig miraculously comes alive and she enters into the magical world of Slumberland, the place where we all apparently head to when we start to dream. For Nemo, this isn't just a place of her subconscious, however. She discovers the world she has entered is real, and after meeting with a roguish outlaw named Flip, she learns of a way to be with her father again. So, does Nemo find her father? Or are the two destined to never be reunited? Let's take a closer look at the movie. Flip tells Nemo that he has refused to wake up for so long he no longer remembers who he was when awake. He uses the map as a guide through various dreams to get to the cave. They travel through multiple dreams of different people and are attacked by a cloud of smoke resembling a kraken, a personification of the nightmare of Nemo's father being taken by the same creature. The duo also find themselves being chased down by Agent Green of the Bureau of Subconscious Activities, BOSA, who wants to imprison Flip for never waking up and intruding dreams. They use more dreams to flee Green, but are eventually caught. Green locks Flip up and warns Nemo that she cannot control her dreams before waking her up. Their journey is made difficult because Agent Green, an agent at BOSA, is hunting Flip down before he breaches any more boundaries. As Nemo is with Flip, she also becomes a subject of Green's mission. Nemo is also chased by a giant squid, a sea monster that she had previously learned about when listening to one of her father's stories. We later learn that the creature following her is a representation of the grief that won't let go of her. After having various adventures together, Agent Green catches up with them and Flip is locked up. During his imprisonment, Nemo returns to the waking world where she spends time with her uncle. While watching home videos that feature the childhood adventures of Philip and Peter together, she realizes the Flip that her father talked about in his stories was actually Philip. This will come as no surprise to anybody who realized the connection between the two names. The reason why Philip has lost his sense of adventure is because that side of him is still stuck in the dream world. Upon realizing this, Nemo knows that Flip/Philip is in much need of the pearls as she is. Nemo's father used to tell her stories about his friend Flip and the adventures they shared together. Nemo assumed Flip was a fictional character and a figment of her father's dreams, but when she enters Slumberland and the dreamlike version of the lighthouse she grew up in, she discovers he is real when she finds him rooting around in her late father's things. In the waking world, Philip shows Nemo an old cassette tape of him and Peter as children playing together. Nemo realizes that Flip is Philip's dream alter ego. As Flip has not woken up, Philip remains docile and unadventurous in the waking world. Nemo borrows Philip's lock-picking tools and goes to Slumberland to rescue Flip from the boza. The two use more dreams to flee Green, finding their way back to the lighthouse. Nemo tells Flip who he is, and he rebukes this, stating that he will never wake up. Before she can dive into the ocean to find the pearls, Nemo is awakened and torn out of Slumberland by Ms. Arya, who reports on Nemo's progress in school to Philip. This leads to an argument between Nemo and Philip. That night, Nemo sneaks out of Philip's apartment and sails through rough water back to the lighthouse in the waking world. She hits her head and passes out in the boat, sending her back into Slumberland. In the Sea of Nightmares, Nemo acquires a wishing pearl, but is chased by the nightmare. Flip arrives to save her in an airplane, and they crash their way through the various dreams from earlier, which also awakens their inhabitants. In the waking world, Nemo slips off the small sailboat and into the water. Philip arranges a rescue boat manned by Carla and two co-workers and heads towards the lighthouse, terrified by the storm. The nightmare grabs Flip, and Nemo uses her wish to force Flip to wake up. In the waking world, Philip is emboldened and dives into the water to rescue Nemo, who is unconscious. We learn that Flip chose to stay in the dream world after falling into it 3 decades earlier. Since that time, the Bureau of Unconscious Activities, BOZA, the agents who govern Slumberland, have been trying to hunt him down to stop him from entering other people's dreams. We later learn of Flip's real identity, but for now, that doesn't really matter. What matters most is Flip's connection to her father, who he still remembers, and the information he holds that can help Nemo get back to him. In Slumberland, Green finds Nemo and commends her on using her wish to save Flip. Green gives Nemo another pearl, which she uses to see her father again. Peter appears and the two spend some quality time together, before he tells Nemo he is proud of her, and that life is waiting for her in the waking world. Nemo says goodbye to her father and wakes up, where Philip embraces her, now embedded with the personality of Flip. Nemo's dream is obviously to see her father again, but we learn that Flip also has a reason for seeking the pearls. His dream is to wake up and remember who he was in the waking world. As such, they both have very good reasons for embarking on what turns out to be a very hazardous journey. To see her father again, Flip tells Nemo that she needs to find one of the pearls that can grant the user a dream of their choosing. The location of the pearls is on the dream map of Slumberland, which Nemo eventually finds. She discovers they are located within the Sea of Nightmares, so that becomes the destination that Nemo and Flip must travel to. Nemo begins to improve her life in the waking world, making friends at school and repairing her relationship with her uncle as they make use of one of Peter's boats for sailing. Thank you for watching.